have fun with it, lean in, play in the possibilities of like what might occur. And like, just ask, like get quiet. Getting quiet is really something that, you know, I would say to do and ask, what is it that you desire? Right. And just trust in your inner being.
Hello, prosperity seeker, and welcome to another episode of the Prosperity Approach. I'm your host, Allison Chavez, and I am so excited that you are here listening or watching to this episode today because I am doing a manifestation series. I wanted to talk to people who have had success in manifesting and share them with you and share their stories with you to help inspire you and to encourage you to keep on going after your dreams and after your goals. And I cannot wait to share today's guest with you. But really fast, before we do that, if you are listening to this episode on audio, be sure that you're listening on your favorite app. And if you're catching us on YouTube, we would sure love it if you would click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll be alerted every time we drop a new episode. And if you want to see the things that we've got going on, you can head on over to AllisonChavez.com. We've got our next online workshop where you can get some information about that. We've got meditations, we got goodies, we got resources there for you as well. And if you plan events or you know somebody who plans events and you're looking for keynote speakers or any kind of speaker and you resonate with my message, I would love to connect with you because I am traveling and my favorite thing to do is speak on stage. So you can shoot us an email over at clientcare@AllisonChavez.com. All right. So I am very excited to introduce you all to Allison Henry today. Allison, not only do you have the most beautiful name in the world, but you are also like one of the most beautiful people I know. So thank you for joining us today.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. This is so much fun.
We are going to have a really fun conversation. So first off, how long have you been using the prosperity approach?
It's been a year and a half now.
Okay, cool. So I know this is manifestation success stories. So people are like, well, you get to the point, what have you manifested so far? So will you share with us what you've manifested?
Yeah, absolutely. So I didn't even know that I was this powerful, that manifestation was actually, a possibility when I first met you. And it was so hard actually to even set a goal or know my desires because I did not even actually realize that I was a powerful creator or could be if I so chose to be. So I actually was working as an educator in a large urban school district, and I wanted to live a more flexible lifestyle. I wanted to travel more, and work in the holistic health field and with essential oils and helping people and coaching people. And so I wanted to leave my job. I wasn't happy there, and I knew that there was just this pull in my heart to step into something else, something bigger. And I just felt as though like I had to stay there. I was a teacher, right? And so that's what you do for X amount of years. And until I remember one time you asked me, like, how good are you willing to let life get? And if I was in the driver's seat, well, then of course I would leave my job and jump into the unknown and create this lifestyle that I wanted. So I did. I left my job back in November. I actually wanted to leave my job and go to another 9 to 5, right? Thinking like, well, you're going to just wait till the next job comes to be able to leave, or wait until my essential oil company or business was at a point where I could just make the switch. Well, that didn't happen. I was meddling in the how of how things were going to work out. And when I asked the universe, like, hey, how am I going to leave my job? Well, the answer was that my partner, Jared, was wanting me to be his business administrator, and wanting me to help him in his work. And I was like, no, I can't do that. That's his thing, not mine. I need my own job, my own, and so I was in the how of what was this going to look like and all the things. So I just accepted, like, that kept coming up. He kept bringing it up, like, okay, this isn't out for you. And I remember him saying, like, life is going to get really good when you decide to not continue to do the thing you don't want to do. Right. So I said yes to him. I hopped into that to support as my own business is in its, growing phase,
Mhm.
early stages. And so I am now living the flexible lifestyle I want to, working from where I want to, traveling around. And yeah, it's been so much fun just playing in the unknown.
Feeling like you've lost yourself on your journey to big success? You're not alone. Most women actually experience this, but it doesn't have to be that way. When you know the components of conscious creation and you know how to apply them in practical and feminine ways, you easily and naturally reach higher and higher levels of success without all the struggle and drama that you've been used to in the past. Imagine achieving your goals without hustle or grind, not feeling worried or guilty every time you spend money, and genuinely feeling in love with your life no matter what is currently going on. You want to know more? Go to prosperityapproach.com/workshop to find out more about our new online workshop called Conscious Creation, the Feminine Way. Wow. Well, and I remember when we first met and you were like, I don't really know what I want. I'm a teacher and I don't like it, but I don't know how I could change it. And little did you know that it was right there. Like the answer was right there with your partner the
Yeah.
whole time. But it wasn't until like really you were willing to get uncomfortable and willing to get into the unknown and start expanding, that life started to change. You guys took a trip. You guys took a trip a little while ago, didn't you? Will you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I had this dream. Well, I want to travel and see more places. And I had this dream that I was in a converted van, like a decked out van traveling through the forest. And I just really had this magical experience in my dream. And I woke up and I was like, did that really happen or is it happening? And I got right on it. I looked up van rentals and I surprised Jared and I was like, hey, we're going here for his birthday and a whole week in a van. He's like, can you really do that? I'm like, I don't know. But my dream said that I had a fantastic time on this trip. And I saw like red rocks and yeah. And so I had to go to Phoenix for a business trip. And I was like, well, here is the opportunity to go to Sedona where there's like breathtaking red rocks and in this converted van and we're going to play out my dream, right? Because obviously it's somewhere a desire and we did. And it was magical. I was like brought to tears at multiple points, just like really feeling like, wow, you listened to a desire that came up and you did not deny. You didn't like question how was I going to pay for this? What was it going to look like? Is everyone, is Jared going to want to go along? Is he, excited to like, I didn't care about any of it. I just, it was a desire. So I went with the nudge.
Would you have allowed yourself to do that if you'd had that dream a year ago?
No, it would have never been possible. You don't have the money. I mean, and I think about it, it's like when you live in fear and anxiety and you actually I associated with that. Well, I was just an anxious person. I'm just, and so that's like, fear can be a motivator, but it also can just box you in. And so
Yeah.
I just would have never allowed myself to choose or trusted in myself. I think that, if I had a desire before, it was like, no, I don't think I could do that, and so just the certainty of oh, I could actually totally do this, was, I would have never done that before. No.
So how long did it take you to get that certainty? Because and I've mentioned this on a couple of other episodes, but most people are just infatuated with like the physical manifestation, right? Like boom, I want to think it, feel it, and then 30 seconds later it's there. But it's much more of a process than that. And the physical manifestation is the last part of the process. But you do go through your own shifts and your own transformation internally in order for it to come. Like that's the key that turns the lock to bring in what you want. And so knowing that before you lived like in this very small, tidy box and you liked things organized and you needed to know the blueprint in every step and every direction, and you lived in some high levels of anxiety, how long did you notice that shift? Like how long did it take for you to get into more of the question and the curiosity and then the certainty that everything works out?
Yeah, it was, well, at first, surrounding myself by people who also did this,
Yes.
your environment was key, right? And so I think that I played around with it in my current environment, my current work, and all of the same circumstances. And it was like, oh, I could see myself doing this. I'm good. But then when I stepped out of that environment and put myself around, like-minded people or people who are on the same page, it was much more quickly changing. Like it changed quickly. But I would say about 6 months till I could like start to, or maybe even, yeah, 6 months for sure. And then into 9 months, I would say I was more confident, for sure. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. And I really love that you brought up the point that your environment is so important. So like when you're with, I like to call it my brand of crazy. Like when you're with your own brand of crazy, when we're talking the same talk and we're like, yes, and I did gratitude here and I did quantum leaping there, and when we're understanding what we're talking about and it's a safe container to talk about that. I absolutely agree with you. You shift so much faster, and somebody listening might be thinking, holy cow, 6 months to get out of anxiety. But if you're in anxiety for decades, that's actually a very short amount of time to get out of that anxious feeling and to really ramp up your confidence. And I watched your transformation. I watched your process. And so it wasn't just like she was pushing and grinding because she wasn't doing any of that because they wouldn't let her, but she was doing the work. It wasn't just like 6 to 9 months, like boom, suddenly she was there. Like I watched her. I watched as you showed up differently. I watched as you were more radiant, as you allowed yourself to get uncomfortable, because the unknown is enormously uncomfortable, especially when you really appreciate knowing what's going to come next and knowing, you were a teacher for years and years and years. You've got your lesson plans. You know what you're doing on Friday when it's Monday. I mean, generally speaking, like, how the school year usually goes and, like all of that. And to suddenly just be like, whew, like that can be really, really butt clenching. But you just,
And I'd rather go through that time period to be able to now like really allow it to come quickly. Like now I see that like when I listen to my like I desire to work with more clients. And when I listen to my body that says like, no, you're super tired, don't sit up and do one more email or content, and I go to bed, like I get more clients. Or when I'm more when I'm more me and I'm out doing the things that I love, like taking that trip, then I find people that are magnetically driven to me because I'm at that vibration. I'm there. And so, yes, it took me a longer time. But I was patient in that, knowing that like once you feel it, then you can turn it on. Like you can turn it on really pretty quickly if you choose to.
yes, yes. One thing that I have realized is that when you know what you're doing and you know why you're doing it, manifesting becomes one of the easiest things in the world to do. Like it's really not hard at all. Once you get the hang of it and you know what you're doing and you know why you're doing it, then it's like, just like what you said, you can turn it on, you can turn it off. You're a magnet, you're understanding how the laws work in relation to you and what you're doing and what your part is. And it just becomes this really, really beautiful ride and, filled with surprises and unexpected things. And you can be patient and allow yourself to have a crazy dream. And then like 2 days later or whatever, be like, we're going. Jared's like, who are you?
Yeah. And that was a big thing. Like he was, and when I turned it on, and he was like, I don't know if I can trust this or trust you or what's going on. How do I take this? And that was a little bit, unnerving for me. Like, oh, I should, get back down. But no, I have stepped into it. And for sure, it's like, yeah, it's so much fun. I didn't even realize like I could do less and attract more, get more. And, I remember one of my libs was that money, supports the lifestyle I desire. And it does, and I think that the major block I had to really work through in those first months was allowing myself to feel, you say like have awareness with zero judgment. I was like so hard on myself, right? The way that I talked to myself, and like shot down every desire and every, that I was not able to let myself go there, So it was like now when I realized like obviously I'm not happy all the time and there's challenges every other day and all the things. But when you allow yourself to feel, when you don't make yourself wrong for any of it, when you don't judge or shame the feelings, you can self-soothe really quickly and then pop yourself back into that higher vibration, that where is your thoughts, beliefs, you know, come to life, right? You can be fearful and have fearful experiences, or you can be, curious and, go with the flow and not be so set back by those challenges and roadblocks that come up.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I cannot tell you how much I'm loving this conversation. I'm like, wow, is this my Allison who was just so scared? And it's so fun because Jared calls you his queen now. Like
Yeah.
and it came out of nowhere. Like, you are my queen. And I'm like, well, yes, because you're behaving like a queen. You have become a queen. And he recognizes that. And it's so beautiful. And it's so much fun. So you were talking about soothing, like, and when you get out of that judgment of whatever you're feeling, and then just allow yourself to feel whatever you're feeling in the moment, and then you can soothe, and I call it, you can process through those emotions really quickly. But I know you have, with your own essential oil business, you do doTERRA oils, and I love using doTERRA oils. And so have you used those as tools to help you in the soothing and in like calming and like all of that?
Absolutely. I am like, I never had really like, thankfully, physical issues, that I had to overcome. But wow, emotionally, I was, there were a lot of things going on there.
Yeah.
So, and essential oils really shine in the emotional arena. And I like have really found my passion, my real true why is the feeling part, the emotional piece of how essential oils really help our body chemistry, and just emotions are molecules and they interact with cells and all of that scientific, right? Whatever.
Mhm.
But yeah, while I was working with you and changing the programming and the subconscious and the beliefs that I was running, the oils were there to help my body chemistry and to help soothe, literally soothe my nervous system and my anxiety and things really naturally. And yeah, for sure, they quickened and I think deepened the process,
Mhm.
allowed me to feel and to move the energy. Because as you say, everything is energy. And
Mhm.
the oils are also energy that help to move and to increase your vibration. So yes, 100%. They were definitely a soothing piece. I rely
Yes.
on heavily.
Yes. And I believe that in the manifestation process, and if you want to get masterful at manifesting, first of all, that becomes co-creation. But you got to have a guide, you got to have a team around you, and you got to have lots of tools. And I absolutely agree with you that essential oils are such a powerful tool to help you in that process, to get yourself out of the way, to keep yourself calm when there's upset, because there's going to be upset in the manifestation process. It's part of universal law. and and that just helps you navigate through that so much more. Now, I say this because I know there's somebody either watching or listening that's like, oh my gosh, tell me more. So I want to send people to you if they want to learn about essential oil. So Allison, how can people connect with you?
Yeah, I'd love to connect on Instagram. My handle is simply joy filled wellness on Instagram. And so I'm doing some upcoming essential emotions workshops. And so I'd love to have a conversation with you. And you can follow me and find me there.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. So what would you tell somebody who might feel like they have a hard time manifesting?
Are you open to the possibility, like are you open to trying? I mean, I think, when someone told me, well, you in the beginning, like you're a powerful creator, I'm like, oh, do I really want to like step into that? Like that seems like it's a lot of pressure or whatever. But like, yeah, are you open to the possibility? Because if you are, then trust and lean in and have fun with it. And I have to like laugh saying that because I'm like, I didn't have fun. Like, I didn't know what fun was, right? Like, I was so serious and so masculine, like, so just a workhorse. And, yeah, have fun with it. Lean in, play in the possibilities of like what might occur, and like, just ask, like get quiet. Getting quiet is really something that, you know, I would say to do, and ask, what is it that you desire, right? And yeah, just trust in your inner
Mm.
being.
I love it. I love it so much. Thank you, my dear, so much for sharing your experience with us. Thank you for letting me show you off to my audience. I appreciate you so much. And if any of you are watching or listening and wondering, gosh, how can I do this so it's easier and I don't feel like I'm alone on this island to try to figure everything else out? There is a link to fill out a form for a complimentary consult call with a member of Team Prosperity. Let's see where you're at. Let's see if there's some gaps that we can help you close and see if there's any way that we can help, because that's what we're here to do. So click on that link, fill out the form, and a member of Team Prosperity will connect with you. And let's just have a conversation and let's see how you're doing. And maybe we can help. And until next time, remember, prosperity becomes you. And Allison, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
This has been a wonderful, wonderful conversation. So we love you to pieces. And thank you for listening. And again, prosperity becomes you.